Dan Carter has the ball in his hands and he's ready to kick off this this massive top 14 clash here at the Stade de France. It's very cold indeed. There's a bit of a wind as well, and well, chill factor as well. People who want to run and who want to put in, you know, plenty of action here. They don't want to hang around. So Chris White blows the whistle to open this clash between Perpignan. Perpignan, of course, in blood and gold. It's an up and under, and it goes, and it's a fumble by Simon Taylor, the Scottish second row, and well, and there's the ruck, and
well, straight away here. That's our man Perez coming in, being pulled out by Chris White there. Came diving in from the side there to the player on the ground in a vulnerable position right in front of the referee, and Chris White will want to sort this one out straight away.
Well, it's only seconds into the game as well. There he is talking to Perez and Mas, of course. Mas, the captain of this Perpignan team.
So we just see it here. Well, he's already, you just see him come diving right in on the side. There's a, untidy play there to start with Perpignan. They good pressure on the kick, got through from the kick-off well. By the looks of it from up here, difficult to say because the breeze does tend to swirl in this ground quite a bit, but tends to be going straight across, judging by the touch judge's flag, but going to be a difficult day for the kickers.
It's a line out for Stade Français, of course, just 10 metres out of the 22, so dangerous time for Perpignan maybe, as Nicolas Durand just gets the ball out to Carter, and they're just passing the ball line, getting rid of the ball and just pumping it up high, and it might be taken by Hernandez, who does well, and that was good hands from Hernandez. Of course, we talk about the swirling winds. Little kick down to Berger, the South African, who has plenty of time and kicks the ball, pumps it up deep into Stade Français territory. Is it gonna? It's not going to go out, so drop out 22. The kicking game, they're going to play that and take advantage of the swirling winds a little bit, because it's going to put problems on the defence.
Certainly is, but just have a look at the class of Hernandez with the offload. There he was, lining up at fullback, as you know, as we spoke about before the game. But Stade Français play away quickly from the 22.
Well, just driving, pushing forward a few extra metres there, trying to make it neat. But there's a little bit of a knock on. It's a scrum with a put in for Perpignan, just well, a few metres inside the Stade Français half. Andrew, regarding the kicking here today, obviously it's going to play quite an important role. You've got some great kickers in both sides. How is that going to prove to be influential for these two teams?
Well, I mean, any game it's important to have an accurate kicking game and play down the right end, and certainly in a game of this sort of intensity where mistakes are going to be made, you want mistakes being made anywhere but down your own end, so you're not giving away points. So, you know, both teams have got fullbacks in Philip Berger who wants to counter-attack, and it looks like Hernandez is on defence playing at fullback for Stade Français, and he likes to counter-attack as well, but they've both got good kicking games as well. So yeah, it'll be a bit of a feeling out period now, especially when defences rush up early in the game and you want to just keep them honest by putting the ball in behind. So those who do it more accurately will obviously get field advantage.
Indications of that from Perpignan as well. The first cross kick from Carter, trying to isolate Gasnier. Maybe they've cited him as a weakness, a rugby league convert on the wing today.
Well, Gasnier coming into the top 14, of course, and just signing for Stade Français at the start of this season. And yes, we haven't seen that much of him. He hasn't really been sort of the player that everybody expected him to be. But I'm sure we'll see more of him as he starts to find his place in the team. That was a good take, and it's Hernandez with the up and under. Another really high kick. This time it's Dan Carter, tit for tat, as they say. And well, it's the same scenario, isn't it? This time Carter goes for a little grubber kick. Oh, and there's a little bit of a knock on the referee, giving the advantage to Stade Français. So we're going to have a scrum with a put in for Stade Français. I get the impression that they're going to mix up the kicking quite a lot, you know, just to try and alter and try and destabilise the midfields of the different teams.
Well, certainly it's that was an untidy passage of play there, pretty much a nothing kick there from Dan Carter down, and well, the mistake was drawn by a nothing kick back from Hernandez, a simple knock on by Jerome, which gives an ideal attacking opportunity to to Stade Français. Interesting to see Boxy, Sadis, Hernandez at fullback. I think they've really sold a dummy to the press in Perpignan this week with that one.
And Stade Français choose to go on the blind side, just getting an extra few metres. There's the maul. They want to get the ball out as quickly as possible. And here it comes. There's Arias with a little chip over the top. It's cheeky. It's just on the edge. But that was a good take, a very good take indeed. Bastero just got in the way. There was contact made. And that contact obviously giving Mr. White no option but to give just a penalty just inside the 22. He didn't really mean that. I mean, it was just... but there was contact while he was in the air.
No, there's a little bit of contact in the air there, but he just let the mark stand. I think it was good refereeing, as you'll just see it here. Berger going up. You'll see just we hung the leg out. That's foolish play from Bastero, really. That could have been quite dangerous.
Very good run there from Mumos from Perpignan, who just did enough running straight back towards the ball, which you're allowed to do, just to block out Bastero and stop him from getting a free shot at either collecting the ball or collecting Berger full on as well. So he did well shadowing him.
Stade Français on the attack. That was a good on the burst pass. And good pressure from Stade Français. Need to have good hands here. Alex Elboy, the man on this goal attempt, is pretty good. Is it through the post? I think no, it's just to the right. Just to the right, left. Then there's Berger getting rid of the ball. And there's Hernandez. He's absolutely everywhere. Just falling just behind him. He's got plenty of time just to launch a missile, and it's a pretty good kick.
That's a lovely kick.
Yeah, just outside the 22.
Just looking at the flight of the ball with the kick so far, I think even though the wind's swirling, I think Stade Français might have a slight advantage with it. Just from the first kick-off from Carter hanging up for quite a long time in the air, and the couple of touch finders we've seen Hernandez make. And the drop kick, of course, here from 50 metres.
From 50 metres, Boxis is a great kicker, but that still had plenty on at that one.
So Stade Français with the assistance of slight breeze, it's got to be said.
There's Tinku with the line out. It's well taken by Perpignan, the blood and gold, the Catalan boys from down south, here to try and kick up a fuss in the French capital. Nicolas Durand, get the impression he's just going to kick over the top, and he does exactly that. Is there anybody putting pressure on the... there's Arias with the kick, and it's quite a strange kick, a grubber, and it falls straight into the hands of Berger, who's well positioned once again, and he decides to keep the ball in hand, and there's a forward pass, I think.
Well, a line ball, that one. I think referee White couldn't let that one go. There we see the high chink, step to the outside, the pass, line ball, okay. Referee White right in line with it though, calls it up, and just struggling to get any flow about the game at the moment, isn't it? It's sort of feeling each other out. We've had 7 minutes, seen a lot of kicking. Got to keep their hands on the ball, try and both teams now, they really want to get themselves settled into this game.
Alboy with the put in is Leguizamon. The strength of that Argentine, well, he's just gets an extra couple of metres. We're just at the halfway line. We've got that gusty wind there that's just making life a little bit difficult for the kickers, especially Perpignan, as Andrew mentioned earlier. And Perpignan with the attack. There's plenty of space here, not much support though. Need to be quite careful there. Perpignan, they need to follow their man and just make the bridge, protect the ball. There's no David Marty, of course, is on the bench. They've got a good number of players who can come in and slip into this Perpignan side. Villaseca as well. There's Durand. That's the cross kick. Oh, on the line? No. Line judge saying that it was out. Merci Patrick. Chris White's French there. He speaks pretty good. That was on the line.
Well on the line, good call.
Speaks pretty good French, Chris White. I think that's one of the reasons why he's they chose him to referee.
I think, now just thinking, looking at it from a referee's perspective, you've really got to be able to converse in French and English refereeing the game now, to be able to. So we've seen Alain Roland, who obviously fluent in French, and he's really taken it to another level, refereeing the clashes with the French side, and I think other referees are taking a leaf out of his book and trying to pick up bits of the language.
And it's working quite well, and that's good. I think that's what they're trying to organise now, just to have a whole bunch of referees from all different continents being able to switch over to the different leagues. And that was...
They're both going for the same. You're both going for the same.
Went forward.
It was a good up and under there from Boxes. Maybe just lacked 1 or 2 metres in length on it, but certainly pressure coming through. There was Leguizamon. You'll just see the hand go out here. He gets a touch on it. and then I think it was Roncero who recovered the ball, actually in an offside position, but the referee quite rightly just to rule take the scrum there. There was no intent on his part to be in that offside position.
There's Nicolas Durand. Nicolas Durand, the scrum half for Perpignan. We're going to see a lot more of him at the down in the Catalan side, because Chris Custer's signed a 2-year contract with Glasgow Warriors, so he'll be leaving pretty soon. But Nicolas Durand is one of those the little cheeky scrum halves, you know. He just finds the gap and just wriggles through it. What a tricky player to get hold of. Perpignan in possession, 10-metre line. And there's a kick from Durand. Snap Hernandez, well taken by Hernandez. Safe hands once again by the Argentine, El Mago. And more kicking. Big kicking game today. But it's been well tidied up as Perpignan just try and calm things down a little. Look at I'm just looking at the Stade Français, defence. You can just see them where they're well positioned with Boxis and Hernandez always looking. And this is Rodrigo Roncero coming through, coming back into the team. It's a good strength from the Stade Français forwards there. Cheeky kick over the top. Berger's there to tidy up. And that's a wrong decision there from Berger. Managed to wriggle out of it though. Here's Farid Sid. Very lucky there, Simon.
Well, Sid does very well to get out of that position. I'm not sure what Berger was thinking about there, but it was no support with him. Hernandez, he had 10 metres, he had time to get the kick away. Anyway, Sid did very well, managed to bring it out to the 22 here. Let's want to clear this away. Carter taking up the position here, lining up left. With 3 players back in the... no, it's going to be Durand takes it on. No winger chasing it.
Absolutely no one here.
But anyway, they're happy to see it go out. Well, it's a funny sort of start to the game, Merce. I don't know how...
I just noticed that last bomb that Hernandez put up. There's just a little bit of indecision there from the Perpignan guys, whether there was a lack of communication, but the ball came down between 2 of them, and that wouldn't have been lost on Hernandez. He's obviously pretty handy on the up and under. The Argentinians used it to good effect in the World Cup 2007.
They got on everybody's nerves playing that rugby, but I mean, it worked an absolute treat. I mean, they finished 3rd. I mean, that's pretty remarkable, but it just goes to show that there are different ways, different styles of rugby that you can play these days, and Argentina really, they caught everybody out, didn't they?
Funny, by contrast, Hernandez is one of the better high ball takers that I've seen in a long time, as well. His timing's good, he climbs up, he's brave, he judges it early.
He's an outstanding footballer, isn't he?
Now, Mr. Carter. There's Sid with and there was just a misinterpretation there. The ball did go backwards, so Perpignan still have the ball and it's not being turned over. No, it's been turned over. Bastereau playing the scrum half, just peeling off the back of that ruck there. What can they do with this? Oh, that was an air pass, wasn't it? But Arias doing particularly well there. And was that Liebenberg who just gets... No, sorry, it's Paris.
Yeah.
Paris just getting nailed on the line there.
You see here, they had a chance to turn over, get it wide, try to get down into the spaces. Great defence there. It was Parisia then brings it away down the outside. He rolls it back, and Matthew Blinn coming across there just tries to keep it in play with the left foot, and unfortunately not the most educated left boot, and rolled it out over the touchline. But once again, Perpignan just got flat on that attack. Mermoz had got the outside. We see evidence of the breeze there. Tinku, great take there. Great steal by Stade Français.
I think it was Simon Taylor, the Scottish second row. Well, a little bit sort of no points scored here yet. 13 minutes. Bastereau, little kick. That was a funny old kick, that was indeed. But look at this. This is wonderful play from Sid. He's doing extremely well, the winger, and manages to keep hold of the ball as the Stade Français forwards just will drive into him. Well, the ball's not out. That's illegal from Leguizamon. And Chris White, he was only about half a metre away. Wasn't going to miss that, Andrew, was he?
No, it's a tough one, because Leguizamon obviously pretty convinced the ball was out, and one of the things that's key in that situation is to be talking at the same time to the referee, and I probably shouldn't go on too much about that, but certainly if you're calling the ball's out, the ball's out, the ball's out, it at least makes the referee look at the ball to determine if in fact it is already out, in which case you are allowed to come around and attack the halfback if he's got his hands on it. So you know, Leguizamon convinced Chris White, convinced otherwise, and he's a good referee, Chris White. You won't hear me say that about many, but he's got a good demeanour and he sees things pretty well. So Perpignan get a chance to get out of their own half, hopefully.
There we can see the Bastereau kick through just there.
Off the shin.
It was unbelievable, wasn't it?
Yeah,
but I mean, you know, it worked quite well. It put a lot of pressure on the Perpignan defence, so why not?
No, it certainly did.
Wasn't very conventional.
I don't think Bastereau, I don't think his body type is designed for kicking a rugby ball.
Fine, yeah.
You don't teach kicks like that, do you?
No, that's not taught.
It's not that orthodox.
Noticed a very good decision from Philip Berger before not to try and run through him at about 70 kg versus about 115, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. We don't want to be battered and bruised if he tried that, the other option. So there's the kick into touch, just a few metres inside their own half. Perpignan is Tinku, the Romanian, of course, back in the squad since a few weeks now after that eye gouging allegation. I think that, you know, he was actually penalised, so he was guilty of something, in fact. But back playing rugby in the top 14.
Well, sloppy play from the line out there. Opted for the long throw with Perez dropping back to take it, but he under good pressure on Blind, and then Carter came up to try and recover the ball. Knock on. Stade Francais dominating now. You just feel they're just slightly, they're edging their way into this game a little bit more than Perpignan at the moment. However, in saying that, Perpignan do have the best defence in the top 14.
Yeah. So
it's a defensive line. It's a defensive line. A defensive plan to be respected. And I think that's maybe why we've seen a lot of kicking early on there from Stade Francais. But look for them to attack through the hand this time.
And Stade Francais have got the best attack in the top 14, so it's you know, it's quite remarkable if you actually look at the two teams what they've actually got. And here's Alboui just getting pulled down to the ground. Stade Francais just trying to run rampage, trying to do whatever they can to get through this. This Perpignan defence. Is a big kick up, and there was it wasn't well taken there, but it's Tinku, I think. No, so yeah, Tinku there with the ball. And Durand, who want to get rid of this. They're under pressure, Perpignan. They won't particularly like that at this stage. Dan Carter with the kick. Straight into the hands of you-know-who. Mago. And that's a massive kick from the Argentine.
That's just a good kick.
On the edge of the 22, and that's a well-taken ball indeed. And I think, was that Leguizamon?
They've got numbers here, they've got numbers.
Yeah, and they're pushing forward. Oh, and this is a great opportunity for Stade Francais. What can they do? There's Gasnier now just getting crumpled, just 5 metres out from the Perpignan try line. And there's laying into Perpignan at the moment. Alboy, the ball's been slowed down as there's no quick ball here. Alboy will want to get rid of it. It's an inside pass this time. Leguizamon just getting in the thick of it.
Marconi's in a lot of trouble here. Oh no, he can move his leg. He didn't move there for a moment. He's holding his knee. That's the one that's been injured. Look at Leguizamon. Technique superb there going up against Carter.
Fantastic.
Beautiful kick. Great chase. And then they had the numbers here. I'm not sure why they threw the miss pass, Mert. So, I don't know. Played it through their hands maybe just to attack the line a little bit straighter.
Yeah, they almost seemed a wee bit too desperate, I guess, to get it out there quickly. They did have numbers out there, and that's understandable. It happens, but in the end, making a bit of a meal of it. But it was a great take from Leguizamon. Tough matchup there. Carter stationary on his 22 at about, what, 1.81 m maybe, trying to get up for it against the guy who's about 6'4", charging through on the burst. And, you know, so it turned out, and Stade were able to recover it.
Well, that's the incident. That's where it goes down. Yeah, he's just been...
it's immediate.
The knee got trapped there, but play on. He seems to be all right at the moment. But that's the much talked about injured knee
from the skiing incident.
Yes, when you take your daughter on the lunar slopes. I think there's a lesson there to be had for all front rowers.
Absolutely right there, Simon. Well, here's the put-in from Alboy. Stade Francais in possession. Well, they've got a lot of resistance by the blood and gold Catalan boys. And is there a turnover there? No. I think it's Stade Francais.
There's a fight going on in the background here. Marconi. I think Marconi's struggling. That scrum's the worst scrum they've put down today. No surprise to see Roncero in the middle of it all.
Oh, he's hungry to get back into the thick of it, Roncero. We haven't seen him for a while, so it's good to see the Argentine back in the scrum and working and doing what he does best for Stade Francais. Let's just have a look at that.
pretty unlucky not to get the ball there, Perpignan. They counter-attacked, they counter-rucked very, very well there, and a couple of the French, the Stade Français boys were almost isolated there, so they're lucky to have the ball still.
Alboy with the put-in.
Good scrum again.
There's the Griezmann. Oh, there's a bit of a fumble. Oh, there's a few shenanigans going on there.
Referee White, welcome to the top 14. Scrum time, nightmare.
Okay.
I think that's nice. Some of these front rowers, they don't get to see one another often, and they're just sort of catching up when they get a chance. And
Time off,
I think that shows the spirit and the friendliness in rugby. Fantastic.
Gentlemen, the game, we do not want this. We want the game to play. So in the front row, calm. You speak, calm.
Well,
No
it's,
problem.
you know, as we've talked about it often before, Robbie, the side, the French nature and their love of the scrummaging,
Yeah.
the tight, the physical contest, they love it. It's in their culture. It goes with their ego, with the macho, the rugby man, the image. This is the big, tough rugby man, and they don't want to give an inch, do they? And like the Argentines, Roncero as well, very proud scrummaging nation. And you see here there's a bit of staring down going on. Tinku will be wanting to get his troops around him because the last two scrums, it's been about Perpignan.
It has indeed, yeah. You're absolutely right there, Simon. And I think that battle's going to go on, and whoever crumples first, you know, is going to obviously, well, there might be signs of cracks in the defence, and could prove advantageous. And, well, there's the penalty being given against Stade Francais, collapsing the scrum. I mean, what can we see who was at fault there, Andrew?
You've got that.
Possibly not the right person. I think he said it's Marconi over on that tight head side, pulling under with his free arm.
Okay.
So, yeah, Perpignan come out of that well, and that's a big tick for them in the scrum, like Simon was saying, part of their culture, especially the boys from down in the southwest there, and the Catalan sort of blood running through them, up against the Flash Harrys from Paris that play in pink a lot of the time. They certainly won't want one put over them in the scrum.
It was Stade Francais went down first, so obviously there was something going on there in the front row.
They play in pink, as you'd expect then.
Absolutely. Tinku with the line out here for Perpignan. So it's a good take. It's very clean indeed. There's Carter there's good strong defence from Stade Francais, but they've still got the ball. Tinku, the Romanian hooker there, who's as strong as an ox, just driving through an extra couple of metres. Well, they're just trying to work their way through and try and find a little gap in this Stade Francais defence. They're pretty well positioned, but look who's at the back. Obviously, they don't want to be doing any kicking because El Mago's just waiting for the ball to fall in their hands. They're just going through the motions first of all and trying to take advantage of the backs. Tinku's in the he's in the actual line. You'll probably see more of him now. And this is a great pass, a great opportunity for Perpignan. They found that gap, just driving through an extra few metres there. I think Damien Chouli was instigated that, and this is good from Perpignan. It's the first decent bit of play, I say, as there was a very poor pass indeed that we've seen from Perpignan, but they still have possession just at the halfway line. Nicolas Durand needs to be a little bit careful, decides to go down the blind side, but there are numbers in the Stade Francais defence there just to, well, stop the blood and gold from driving through. This is Tinku this time, with an extra few metres. Perez just picking up and getting caught up himself. It's a quick ball. This is good from Perpignan. What can they do with it? Well, just getting caught up. Was that Plante? That was well tidied up indeed from Durand, doing extremely well. Well, they're getting caught up now. It's a little bit stagnant, and finally there's Durand with the kick. It's just over the top. They took a deflection, and now this is a healthy run from Marc Gasnier.
It was Arias taking that one back.
Sorry.
Yep.
On the other wing, and it's Stade Francais just getting possession. Well, first of all, that kick, was that the right decision, do you think, Andrew? At that point, they were feeling a little bit of pressure, I think, at one point, despite having lots of ball, but it took a deflection, didn't it, that kick, and went into no man's land.
Well, they went through a lot of phases without making a huge amount of headway, Perpignan, and that always shows not so much frustration, but you get bereft of ideas after you've gone through a few phases. You lose a lot of players that are on the ground or in the ruck, and if you don't have any options, then really the kick becomes the only one, and Stade Francais will take that as a big tick for their defence. They seem pretty organised. The Perpignan attack sort of faltered for a while, and then Carter restarted up, getting a bit of ground on the blind side. But to me, the Perpignan team seem a wee bit bunched. They don't seem to be making use of the whole width of the field and spreading out, stretching that Stade Français defence, which, on the other hand, looks very well organised. So, like I say, a big tick for the Stade Français defence.
They're really having to commit too many players to the breakdown, aren't they, to try and hold on to the ball. And as Andrew said, they're sending 5-6 guys into every breakdown. The players just aren't there. Duran puts his head up before. He's got 2 players outside him. What does he think? Kick. And yeah, it's a shame because that's the first time they've tried to keep the ball in hand.
And Stade Français, so the ball's been turned over. It's a little chip over the top. It's a tricky one. Oh, that was very well taken indeed from the Perpignan winger Adrien Plante. It's a Perpignan ball. They keep possession, but that was well taken by Plante. He was coming across and managed to collect and turn with the ball and make a little bit of progress. And there's the knock-on from Paris, obviously offering the scrum put in for Perpignan.
Well, it could have been called penalty as well for a deliberate knockdown there. He wasn't making an attempt to regather the ball. However, Plante did very well there, coming across in cover. Vulnerable area for any team to defend, just in behind the front line. Did very well in cover.
But this time, Damien Chouli decides to take the ball, number 8, and there's the kick through from Duran straight to El Mago. Yeah, I can see you shaking your head, Simon. That obviously wasn't the right decision.
Well, he had numbers there. They've got to really take it to them, not putting any pressure on. If you're going to kick, you either want the ball to go out or it's a kick to regain the ball. That kick was nothing. Straight down the throat. Here we are back in the same position. Now you put your line out under pressure. It just seems to me they're on the front foot. They've got to continue to play. They've got to play. They've got to take the Paris side on from Paris and really take them on with the ball and be physical. They've got their big back row who carry the ball really well. Chouli we haven't really seen in the game so far. Perez as well. We had earlier we had Tanita who had a very good ball carry. So they've got capable ball carriers. They want to use them. Tinku, get them into the game. Sloppy pass again. The transition between 9 and with his forwards there, but nudged again downfield.
There's Gavin Hume, who's just with the up and under the South African centre. There's chip over the top. Now that was not a bad chip, but well, it's been tidied up by Perpignan. We launched the counter-attack. Now this time it's Olibou with carrying the ball for a few extra metres here. Dan Carter getting caught up. They've nailed Carter, and have they still got possession? Yeah, and there was and there's Roncero getting caught up, and he's just going for Damien Chouli, I think. You know, it was Paris, sorry.
I think he's caught up with a couple of the other front rows. He's just trying to make his way around the group slowly. And
is that what you call it?
Is the familiar? I tell you what, if he's too much of a familiar face and that sort of a thing much longer, he's going to get to sit 10 minutes out in the cold here. And I think it's a lot preferable running around and keeping yourself warm than sitting sideline for 10 minutes. But he's running that danger now.
Well, he's a bit of an eager beaver, isn't he, Roncero? You know, at this stage he wants to. Yeah, I mean, he's a very talented player. He likes to get in amidst everything all the time. I mean, the thing is that you know, he can make a few mistakes because he hasn't played for a while. He's coming back into the team.
Sure, he's coming back in, but to me, it'd be one of the most annoying rugby players in international rugby. But I mean that in a good sense. He is everywhere. He's pulling jerseys. He's stamping on guys' ankles when he can. But he's a very, very good technician. He is a very, very good rugby player. But gee, he's annoying.
You'd rather have him on your team rather than playing against him, I can imagine.
Do not get involved again.
Well, there's Chris White. He won.
A reversal of the decision. Well, shake of the head from the Perpignan boys.
Possibly a shot here from Stade, wind assisted.
I would definitely say so.
Boxes with that distance, I think, rather him than Hernandez.
We can have a look at here, see what happens here. They come in from the side, there it is, grabs him on the face, pushes him back, tries to pull him out by the neck. That's Chouli. Senseless play. I can understand why he's frustrated.
He was pulling him out by the neck. I mean, you know, it's like pulling a turtle out of it.
Well, I think he was looking for a neck and failed to find one, so he ended up having to have a crack at the face. But
you've got a point there too, Andrew. Okay, we got a kick. Well, we haven't seen any points. We're 25 minutes into this. It's a bit like a football match, I suppose, isn't it? But his boxes with a chance to try and get 3 points for Stade Français. Strikes it very well indeed. He's got the wind, but it's going just to the left of the posts. And did you see the effect that the wind had on it?
No, I would. I know, Robbie. I thought you were nice to have called it. It was a good strike, just the way. Yeah, his reaction there tells you all about it. It was a Pretty poor strike. Dominici's not happy.
No doubting he had the distance though, and that'll make Perpignan think twice about infringing anywhere up to the 55-metre sort of mark.
He's a huge kicker of the ball.
Just distance-wise,
distance-wise, yeah, without a doubt.
You can see that he could probably kick from 55, if he strikes it well today. But anyway, not happening. No points on the scoreboard for this top 14 clash between Stade Français and Perpignan here live on Eurosport Asia Pacific, with, of course, Simon Mannix and Andrew Mertens, my consultants, here today on this cold afternoon. Perpignan driving, pushing through. Perez picks it up. He's got good hands. He's keeping hold of the ball very well today. Now, what can they do with this? They haven't got many numbers out the side, but there's a couple of players, of course, with Farid Sid just jumping on the bandwagon. There's Durant, Dan Carter.
They've got numbers left here. If they can get this one out quickly, they've got numbers left. But there we have the turnover.
Holding the ball on the ground. Looks that way. Alboy with Bastereau. He's got those mammoth-sized thighs that allows him to drive through. He gets an extra 6 or 7 metres. This is on the burst from Paris, I think. And this is fantastic. It's not Paris, I think it's, is that Roncero? And there's a chance. Liebenberg, sorry. I'll get it right one day. And there's boxes with Stade Français. You can see the flags flying in the stands. And it was a wonderful, wonderful break of the chain from Liebenberg. And I got it wrong, of course, but he didn't. Fantastic job and a great score for Stade Français. Andrew.
Well, it's handy having that sort of size and power in your midfield, isn't it? And 12 and 13 from Stade, Bastereau and Liebenberg, both big men. That's going to take effect later in the game, especially when guys are continually for 80 minutes having to tackle those two. And Bastereau makes the initial burst. Liebenberg spots the gap that's on normally a line that a Ford runs, but he's big enough probably to pass as a back rower, and a great offload and good support from the French. From the Stade Français team, they really sort of sniffed the opportunity and got there in numbers.
Well, they didn't. It came from a promising situation for Perpignan, didn't it? The turnover. I think it was Marconi who actually got in on the ball and won the penalty. And then good, quick thinking there from the number 9, set them away. And you'll just see here, Bastereau very strong there. Carter hangs on, tries to slow the ball down, does well there, Carter. But it's not enough. You see the line there from Liebenberg. Bang, through he goes. Busts one, strides through the second. Down on the ground, he's got time, 2 seconds to play the ball. The support's there. Very well played, Stade Français, but well, you've got to say it, first piece of positive rugby they've played this afternoon. You're
absolutely right. I mean, it was great play on the burst. It's good to see the experience of Liebenberg just linking up with Bastereau, the youngster. That's a very explosive combination that they've actually got there in the midfield. And well, it's just paid off on this occasion.
It's a huge backline. It really is a big backline. We haven't spoken about Gaznier out there either. Hernandez is a big guy as well. The big, strong guys. And as Mert said, talking about the effect that'll have later in the game when just pounding into them all day, big solid defence. See if they, really look to, one more score here before the half-time, they can really make a mark on Perpignan.
Yeah, fantastic play from Stade Français. They finally get some points on the scoreboard. 7-0 for Stade Français for the home team. Of course, Perpignan, we can go back to last season, of course. Now, they snapped that amazing 60-match unbeaten run at Stade Jean-Bouin with that victory, which was quite remarkable. No one expected it, but it happened, and it was Perpignan, of course, who just snapped that unbelievable run for the team from the capital. And then earlier in the season, Stade Français beat Perpignan down at Aimé Giral. So this is revenge time for Stade Français, and they're looking quite hungry for it. That was very clever indeed from Hernandez, and he recovers in quite a remarkable fashion, but Mr. White says no.
Good call. I think he didn't have control of it. He patted the ball back, and it may have seemed like it didn't go forward, but he never had control once it had bounced out of his arms. But unfortunately, after it gave him a rap before about taking the high ball.
Well, it was an absolute floater, wasn't it, from Berger? He put up. It was one of those ones where his head almost off his ankle, so it was wobbling around there up in the air, and it needs something like that to throw him off. Have a look here. Loses control, goes forward, as Andrew said. Never had control, and good decision, referee White. Ideal attacking situation here for Perpignan.
There's Swazuski, the hooker, Dimitri, who's on the bench, of course, and well, just one of the great subs that they've actually got ready to come out into the Stade Français team. So it's Nicolas Durand with a put-in just on the 22 for Blood and Gold. What can they do? They win the scrum. It's Dan Carter with the ball, just bringing the ball out wide. And this is a great scoring opportunity for Perpignan, pushing it through, but the ball's been dropped. And, well, they still have advantage there. There was some naughty play from Stade Français, and it's the cross kick. What can they do with this? Oh, and it's very well taken there. Is it from Arias in the corner? No, it isn't.
Gasnier, fantastic. He's known for his courage and his skill in taking the ball like that in rugby league. So, you know, using his experience there and took it comfortably. It was a good kick too. It was a pinpoint kick.
Very good kick.
Gasnier equal to it.
It was well worked down the left, down the blind side as well, wasn't it? The pass from 8, Shuli to Carter was very well worked here. Powers trying to play themselves out of the situation with a quick one, but they've held on to Perpignan well. They're here to play, aren't they?
They are indeed, and they're just giving what Stade Français have just given them, so they're a little bit of tit for tat, and they'll want to take advantage of this. Well, there's Berger just watching the ball bounce in a bizarre way and going out, so it's line out for Tinku. Marc Gasnier, well, he might want to change over to Australian rules football with that catch. That was quite remarkable, wasn't it?
Oh, he's a very talented footballer, as Andrew said, and in rugby league he's well known for his you know, his ability in the air as well. And interesting to see the amount of changes going on in this back line, Mertz. We've got Boxy's gone back to fullback, Hernandez is at 10, Gasnier's now swapped wings. They're moving around the whole time, aren't they?
Probably to keep warm. I'm glad Perpignan attack left off that scrum. They obviously watched closely, well, as you'd hope teams do, but the first scrum, Stade Français have been standing Liebenberg out to the left of the scrum. We're looking at the try, I think, here again.
That's right. And there's Bastero. I mean, it's look at they're ravaged there. I mean, you know, they really are hungry to try and break that defensive line. And Liebenberg, well, that was fantastic. I mean, the pass was just remarkable.
Very effective line that he ran as well. I mean, the play was flowing to the left. It's a line that Owen Finnegan, for example, ran very well for the Wallabies. Probably most teams call it an Owen now, or a Finnegan, or a Mellon for his large-sized head. But he ran it very well for Australia, and it's just coming against the grain. You saw a few of the Perpignan players looking to their right into the ruck, and were sort of surprised by Liebenberg hitting it, and they did it very well. Probably one of those ones you want to record and show all your forwards how to run a good line like that.
It's right into the zone of the referee, isn't it? That's the, you know, they call it the referee zone. They run into it. We've got a change coming up here for Perpignan. David Marty coming on. Well,
interesting, isn't it?
Not often they can bring an international off the bench, so is it? They don't really have the same depth as the likes of the other top 3 teams, Clermont, Toulouse, and Stade Français.
No, that's good. It's good. And Marty, I mean, you know, he runs a very direct. He's got direct lines, but he's very strong indeed. I mean, you know, he's just going to add. Well, he's going to add something extra to this midfield, I think. And well, the ball's been lost by Perpignan. It's a turnover, but they got it back. Dan Carter, little dummy. Bastero nails him. Still in possession though.
This is good ball going forward here.
Well, Perez on the burst, just gets caught up, I think, by Le Griezmann. A little bit of pick and go.
It's difficult for Dan Carter at the moment to get. This is not the style of rugby Dan Carter plays, flat to the line, and you know, he's taken it on himself an awful lot, because there's still, you know, he spoke in an interview during the week. He said feels like the guys are really adjusting. He's adjusting well to them and everything else, but it takes a little bit more time than that. And he hasn't had, you know, how many games has he had? 4 games now?
Yeah, four games, yeah.
4 games. And it takes a little bit more than that, doesn't it, Mertz, for guys to get just those little idiosyncrasies that you have amongst yourselves out there on the field.
It does. It's Dan getting used to the guys around him. It's also them getting used to him, as we see Boxus about to have a fairly long-range attempt with a wee bit of wind behind him. But to me, the Perpignan attack hasn't seemed very organised, but they are a team that can create something out of nothing, in that they like to play. They like to keep the ball alive. They like to get the pass away in the tackle. Now, so far, they've come up against a very good organised defence. So,
is the kick from Lionel Boxys? It's straight. Is it coming through? Oh, and it just hits the post. So they need to recover. Dan Carter picks it up and gets rid of the ball. He just bangs it deep into Stade Français territory. It's El Mago now with the up and under. It's just on the edge of the 22. It's not bad. Berger goes up for it, and he takes it very, very well indeed. And this is another counter-attack. That's Nicolas Mas picking up the ball as Perpignan doing very well to push forward. There's Martin with his first ball. What can they do now? This is great supply. So support. This is Berger on his own. Oh, and that was the wrong decision by Berger. And Stade Français have the ball and they're kicking out to touch. Well, let's have a look. Oh, it's still in play. Perpignan, Dan Carter this time. And there's Tinku. Oh, and it's Perpignan, and there's another fumble. Oh, they need to be very careful. I mean, there's a little bit of sloppy hands there. Now, Simon, let's talk through what happened down in the right. We've got the images now on screen.
Well, this is Merlo, so you hit him wide. Martin just wasn't quite sure what he was going to do. They did beautifully. Gasnier was all at sea there defensively. He does well here. Go straight, give the ball. No. Ate up his space, tried to... No.
Why did he go to... He made the wrong decision by going to the line.
It's very easy for us to call it from here, but if he'd gone straight... Tinku goes through here. I don't know who got taken out off the ball there. You'll just see behind Bastero taken out there.
Bastero made it... we talked about theatre before the game, but that was a great attempt to earn a penalty from taking himself well out in the tackle, but...
This is great skill from Berger in there, wasn't it? With two exponents there. Well done.
Fantastic take.
They'll be encouraged by that Perpignan. I mean, they've made good inroads there. They haven't finished it off, and in games like these, you need to take every chance you possibly can against a team like Stade Français, and they haven't, but they'll be encouraged at least they're down this end.
Got to keep the pressure on at the scrum, though. I think it has worked well for them in this, in the later stages of this first half. As their scrum starting to get a little bit of an upper hand.
It's very, very quick as well, Simon. I get the impression that it's in and it's out, and Durand already has the ball, and they can just react rather, a lot quicker, and that's quite important. The quick scrum, quick ball, nothing's being slowed down. The opposition can't put themselves in the right positions.
Well, Andrew spoke about it before the game. It was going to depend on what happens up front today, how these two teams can operate. And a point of worry for Perpignan at half-time was something I want to consider as this line-out. They've closed one right up here. Shorter line-out. It's untidy. Their line-out works not good today.
Nicolas Durand just holding the ball out. This is good. They've restructured themselves, Perpignan, the forwards, and they've got the possession here. There's the up and under. Will go inside the 22. It's one of those teasing kicks. I think that was a bit of a knock-on, I think. So Chris White, who's only a few metres away.
Beautifully weighted kick there from Carter. So just have a look at the Marty's sitting away. This is earlier on. Just have a look. Sid does well, Sid. Holds his support on the inside. If Berger goes straight, he can draw box seats, because the box seats were squared up. And it's try.
Yeah, but Sid was there on the outside as well, the overlap. He was on his own if he'd have gone straight. So
no, if he kept his line running straight, fixed box seats, gives it to Sid. Sid scores. And I haven't made a mistake in this stands.
Yes, I think from the moment he got the ball, Berger didn't look like he was going to give it to anyone. He was going to take the man on by himself. And I think, it's easy, like you say, it's easy to say from up here, but just a simple 2-on-1. They had support coming up the inside.
Yeah,
might have been 5 points in the corner.
Sid's played very well, hasn't he? He's been very lively. He's a guy. I must say it's the first time I've seen him play. But a really impressive guy. He's lively in everything he does.
Yeah.
He's
tough. He's got good acceleration. He's saved back on defence. He's saved Perpignan a couple of times and saved his fullback once, getting them out of trouble and just getting a bit of go forward to get back to the forwards with their support. And they did very well to stay on the outside there. Gasnier came in off his man, which is something I think he's probably used to doing with rugby league, defending from the outside in. And it just left the gap there down the outside for Sid.
He's also got very good safe hands as well. And that's quite important when you're playing rugby, of course, at this level, at any level.
It's helpful.
It does help. There's the line out for Stade Français, and we're just at the halfway line. There's only a few minutes left with Stade Français. They've got the first score on the board. El Mago with the kick. Now who's chasing? Bastero's up there. Berger's got knocked out by Bastero, and Mr. White. Let's have a look at that. Now, was it intentional? I'm not too sure it was.
Have a look here. Look where his eyes are. They're going to be...
Oh, no, that wasn't...
He's not watching the player. No. It's just sloppy play, isn't it?
That's that collision I was talking about before, potentially between 70 kg and 115, and it's ended up pretty ugly, hasn't it?
I think 115 won, because he is down and he is sore, because you can't brace your body for that because you're watching the ball.
And saying it wasn't deliberate, though, I don't think Bastero... I don't think it was deliberate, but I don't think Bastero has really taken care not to cause something like this. You know, we saw just the wee hand go out and clip the ankle of Berger before.
Chris,
I just don't think he's taken as much care chasing the ball as he could have.
Yeah.
Let's listen to the referee a second.
Just be careful, because you must be also careful where you are playing. You must be careful for the other players as well. So it's a penalty against you. No more.
Yeah, because that was quite nasty, but I don't think it wasn't intentional. It was just clumsy, wasn't it?
Dear.
But that could be a lot more serious than what it was.
Well, it's good news for Perpignan. Berger seems okay after that one, which is good, because he's been one of their brighter lights as well in the first half.
Even if he doesn't make the right decision on each occasion,
yeah.
But I mean,
at least he's there.
You can be excused. He's there,
and he's dangerous. He's got pace, and
exactly.
I think the more Stade Francais have looked the more a polished team when they attack, but I think the more that the game breaks up, the more it's going to suit a team like Perpignan, who have showed an ability to move the ball off broken play and counter-attack well.
Tinker with the line out.
It's a better line out for
very
Perpignan.
well. It's taken. It's a clean take indeed. Now they're going to get together a driving maul here. No, they haven't been able to, so they'll want to get that ball out maybe.
Difficult ball to do anything with here. They'll just have to try and pick and go, generate a little bit of speed here. He's trying to position his two front rowers here. Mass getting out there and try and get it going forward. He's impressed me today as Tanita, the number 6. He's played well.
The Romanian, he's been ever present, Simon. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Right,
very good tackle from Parisi there. He just nullified the attack. He wrapped the player up that was coming through. I didn't see who it was from Perpignan. And he's wrapped him up and he's pulled him away. He's pulled him away from the point of contact, and it just slows the ball up enough that Perpignan couldn't get quick phase ball.
Is the clock correct?
Now this.
It's a big back row, isn't it? The two back rows, but particularly at Stade Francais. Physical, Guizamo, Ramadan, and Parisi's solid units. Great scrum.
Very talented footballers indeed. Perpignan, well, with another put in. They'll want to score. I mean, it's quite important to get some, just a few points at least on the scoreboard, just for the morale going into the changing rooms. Jack Brunel can be quite happy with what's happened so far, but there's they need to work on certain areas. It'll be interesting to see what happens, when they come back out.
They want to keep this one in the scrum and try and win the penalty. They want to get it going forward, because the ref will be, the advantage will be going, no, they're going to have to go now.
But if you actually look at the front row, they've actually come up. They're not allowed to do that when the ball's still in the scrum. I think we're at half-time, so half-time 7-0 for Stade Francais against Perpignan on this absolutely freezing afternoon here in the French capital. We'll be back just after the news, of course, for the second half of this match here at the Stade de France. 7 for Stade Francais, 0 for Perpignan. From me, Robin Ock, we'll be back, just after a small news bulletin and a commercial break. See you then.